Hello everyone, welcome to another evening, and today I'm starting to do my Baiskeli Stories. It will be a live segment on my channel, and it's been a while since I did it, but today I want to do it because I felt that I need to start this going. I need to keep the channel active. It's been a while. Shooting video content is not enough. I need also to talk to you guys and tell you a few things now. Like today I want to address the issue of why cycling is declining in Kenya, and you realize that since COVID, cycling was on an upward trend, but initially it wasn't any on the radar until after COVID hit. That's when cycling started to become prominent. People are cycling to places, going from Nairobi to Mombasa and back. We had people who did a lot of things. Myself, I used to have a bike, but it was just for commuting purposes. But during COVID, that's when I discovered you can use your bike to go to places, adventure, have fun, come back, and then it became my source of livelihood in terms of nourishing my mind with the excellent views. Whenever you go to places like 14 Falls, going to Machakos, going to Namanga, going home to Kisii, Kisumu, people were doing all those things, and I didn't want to be left behind, so I also joined the bandwagon. But after COVID, it starts to drop, and that was expected because people started to do very serious stuff. Before COVID, during COVID, people started to be concentrated at home because of quarantine, and they didn't have a lot of things to do to keep them busy, so that's why people switched to cycling. But after COVID, people got jobs, others got married, people started to do very serious things, and so they left cycling and they concentrated in whatever new things they were. But I want to tell you, that's beside the point. That's normal. A lot of things changed over COVID. Now I want to give you some reasons that probably you never thought of. One thing that actually made cycling to reduce out beyond the decline is that we live in a very, very, very diverse country where there are a lot of things that are going on, and interests of people change over time, especially Kenyans. Kenyans are people whose interests shift over time. You've seen even in the political space. One time somebody is relevant, next time another person replaces him. Now, some people lost interest in cycling, especially after they realized that they couldn't keep up with whatever things was happening in the cycling community. For example, being regular in cycling, in races, being regular in group rides, being up to date with whatever was happening in the cycling community. That was normal, it was expected. But now, some people even took it further because they realized, hey, no, I wasn't born to do this. And so, if somebody didn't find an encouraging team or an encouraging, people to help them keep up with cycling, it was going to become very hard. For example, if you didn't have an accountability partner, or in the group you were nobody knew about you, nobody knew that you were just new, so everybody is just chasing their own goals, you will find that over time you start to feel out of place. You feel like there's nobody pushing you and everything, so you slide back to your normal life. There's one part of looking at it. Another part is if when you lose interest, and you know why you lose interest? You lose interest because you are not seeing the gain that is bringing into your life. For example, some people started to have issues like crashing or bike breaking down. They don't know where to get help about that. They don't know where to get advice. So these people started to fall out. So when these people were falling out, one thing that was clear is that these people, they were unable to catch up with the trend. So they had to look for something else to take space of that. So when you lose interest in something like cycling, definitely you might even sell your bike, you might even donate it, or any paraphernalia that you bought associated with the bike. It's very possible for you to give it away or sell it. So losing interest, some people lost interest. Then another thing that has contributed to the decline of cycling, I can tell you for sure, is the fact that you find people who came to cycling. Some people came to cycling with certain goals that they wanted to chase. For example, you've seen beautiful ladies, you've seen handsome men, you've seen opportunities that other people are getting out of cycling. So you want to chase that. So you get into cycling. And then you realize over time, you're not getting there. You're not succeeding in your mission. What do? Slide back, forget about it, move on with your life. So that's one thing that really affected cycling. And some people either hanged their bikes or they sold their bikes. Then we move to another thing that is when major things happen in cycling community. For example, when Sule, one person who was really known throughout the cycling community, died, and the nature of his death, and he was not just the first one. We had somebody like Belak or Caleb, and this guy, the way he died. Now that story, when it is told to amateur cyclists or beginner cyclists, some of them got discouraged, or some of them got the fear, bought fear, or uliziwa woga, bought fear, and they decided to keep off from cycling or reduce cycling totally. So that's one thing. But the biggest thing of all is in cycling, just like in our country, there's been a lot of corruption. We have the Kenya Cycling Racing Series, races series. It's something that is privately organized, because the Kenya Cycling Federation is very corrupt. They have never organized something until this year. That's when they incorporated a cycling race that is international. And we've seen a lot of things that have been happening. But corruption is one thing. When people hear about the way corruption is rooted in our society, they get bored, they get discouraged. For example, now like Kenya Cycling Federation, few people have heard about it, or few people know what it does. Some people even don't know who are the officials. So one thing you'll agree with me is that the Kenya Cycling Federation has been doing things behind our backs, doing things in such a way that very few people actually know what it was doing until when it has done it. So if you had become somebody who is becoming an elite cyclist, you are participating in races, you might be discouraged over time, especially when you have certain struggles and you're expecting the federation to come on board and help you. But again, that corruption didn't even stop there. There are a few individuals who have been organizing races in Kenya, and these individuals also, corruption also got into them, and when it got into them, it affected them in such a way that they have been using cycling to enrich themselves. You see, one thing I can attest to you is that registration for races has been increasing over time. It has increased, it has gotten to a point whereby if you want to go to a race, especially if the race is not within your vicinity, you need a minimum of 10,000 shillings for you to attend the race. And mark you are not even going to chase the podium. You are attending it for the love of the sport. So over time, it starts to make you think, what am I gaining out of all this? It's becoming expensive. First of all, another point is that bikes became expensive over time. Some bikes were overpriced, they were overrated, the accessories the same thing. And somebody gets to a point and they ask themselves, by the way, what am I even looking for in all these things? Can't I just not, why am I even struggling? In fact, the best thing I can do here is sell my bike or sell the components, go get busy elsewhere. So those are some of the things that have really affected cycling to the extent that it is on the decline. I've told you, people after COVID, people got new responsibilities. I've told you another thing is loss of interest. Also, being discouraged when missions that brought people into cycling are never fulfilled. Then another thing I'm talking about is the corruption that is rooted in our Kenya Cycling Federation, and also it has trickled down even to the KCRS, the private entity that is doing the registration, and not just registration but race organization. So, and then the economy, like there's a way economy has reached in a certain place, but cycling purchases are becoming more expensive and expensive. The bikes, the accessories, and everything that comes with it is becoming expensive. I've also told you the races are becoming expensive. Right now, somebody is asking you for 2,000 shillings to register for a race, and an additional, I don't know if it's 700 for you to get a finisher's medal or to get something, weird things. So I will be dwelling more on a number of things that are really affecting us in terms of cycling, and I was just laying background for this. Maybe next time I'll try to plan things better. Today, this particular episode, I was just trying to revive it. This is my second one. The first one was in March, but this is the second one, and I want to be more frequent in producing these episodes. They are sort of like podcasts. I hear a lot of things, but I've never been able to put them down to share with you guys. I will tell you a lot of things that are happening around Kenya cycling as a sport and as a community. I will even tell you about issues like how some people whom we think they are the way they are, how they are not the way they are. Some things happen to some people, and this is what we've been told, but actually that's not what we've been told. Actually, it's a lie, and among other things. Otherwise, thanks for your time. Till next time, keep it here, and more content I'll be bringing to you.